Hey everybody, thanks for taking a couple of minutes to watch this tutorial. Today I'm going to show you the process of aligning our institutional learning outcomes, which are new as of this semester, to our course learning outcomes. So alignment of ILOs to CLOs. And there's a few reasons that we're going to be doing this. One is assessment reporting every semester involves us asking for updates to CAPs and then implementing all of those updates. And almost every semester, a CAP gets, lost or left out of the reporting format. There's always an error or an issue. And so it means that we're not getting as complete of a reporting as we could get. So that's the first thing, is to try to eliminate or reduce those redundancies. The second is that SUNY is mandating a change to general education by fall of 2023. This is a big overhaul, and we knew this was coming, which was actually why we revised our institutional learning outcomes. We wanted those ILOs to reflect Middle States, our accrediting body, Middle States expectations for general education. So we really put all of this into play a couple of years ago, anticipating these changes, and showing these alignments and working on this process now helps us with that shift towards new and revised general education. And the sooner we can get that started, the more quickly we can go forward with the implementation. And then the last is, this is something we said we were going to do. Some of you may remember February of 2020 being in room 612 of the PAC building and workshopping these ILOs. And the conversations that were taking place in all of these working groups was how many alignments you all saw between these proposed ILOs and your course learning outcomes. And so now it's time to put that into play, demonstrate those alignments, and move forward with the process. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, go to the course catalog. Page 10 of the 2021-22 catalog has the academic philosophy, and here listed in bullet points are the 5 new ILOs. They are not numbered, but we are asking you to think of them numerically. So number 1, of course, being to communicate effectively through writing, speaking, and creative expression. Number 5, learning how to become actively engaged citizens in the communities they serve, they, of course, being our students. So these are our 5 ILOs. And have this ready and maybe side by side for you to show those alignments or look for those alignments with your course learning outcomes. So here's where you're going to find your caps. I know most of you have been used to going into Blackboard. Those caps still exist in Blackboard, but we are shifting away from Blackboard and using the intranet. So I want you to practice using the intranet to access your course assessment plans, and start by clicking in the left-hand corner on Documents and Forms for all employees. That will bring you to this page where you'll click on Columbia Green Planning and Assessment. From there, you'll click on Academic Assessment. And excuse me while I bring you down the rabbit hole of academic assessment to Course Assessment Plans, and then to the CAP Library. Now, once you're in the CAP library, it's going to look like this. You're going to have a bunch of folders, and all the folders are correlated with the courses that you teach. And within those folders are Excel documents, and these Excel documents are your course assessment plans. These are already designed. They've been here and have been in use for some time. Some have been revised more recently than others. And if you can't find your course assessment plan in these folders, please alert me as soon as possible so that I can address that. However, most of you are going to be able to open those folders, click on the document. It's going to bring you to a SharePoint Excel document that will look kind of like what's behind this, this Save As image. So it'll open up in a browser, and from there what I want you to do is download the document. So when you click File, Save As, don't save it as an online copy, download a copy. Save it to your computer, to a flash drive, so that you can work offline, and then I'll have you upload it again. And the reason we have to do this is because there are permissions in place to ensure that people aren't making changes to documents that they shouldn't. So again, download a copy of your CAP, open it up on your computer, and from there, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. This is where we're going to show those alignments. The first thing is change the date. I always remember, and I tell people this first, change the date so that we know when you edited the document last. The second thing is I'm going to have you look for those alignments. So remember, we looked at those 5 institutional learning outcomes, and what I found when I looked at this class, CO 104, Public Communication, is that the second learning outcome, to formulate and present convincing arguments for an idea through reason and research, really nicely aligned with ILO 3. And learning outcome 3 for the class, demonstrate accurate, clear, and expressive use of voice, nonverbal, and verbal language, should not surprise you that it aligns beautifully with ILO 1, which of course was about communication. Now, you don't have to show multiple alignments. We're really only looking for one. So if you can make one alignment, you're in good shape. If you can make more than one alignment, go ahead and do it. Don't feel like you need to force it, and certainly don't make alignments that aren't crystal clear. Here we have course assessment plans that assess learning in the class with a very specific assessment method. And so you have documentation, right? When my students give a speech and I assess that speech with a rubric and they're demonstrating accurate, clear, and expressive use of voice, nonverbal, and verbal language, I have documentation through that assessment method that they have met institutional learning outcome 1. So again, you want it to be really, really clear. Don't stretch for it. If you're not finding any alignments, then I want you to reach out to me. I want to work with you on your course assessment plan. Maybe there is an alignment that you're not seeing, and maybe, and I think it'll be a rare case, but maybe it's a matter of editing your course assessment plans to show those alignments. But that's something I'd love to work with you on, so reach out to me if that's the case. All right, once you have edited your document, you're going to save it using this format. So the course abbreviation, in my case, communication, is CO, the course number, underscore 2022. That's how I want you to save it, because you're not allowed to delete files in the intranet, and saving it this way means you can upload it, and I know the difference between the old version and the new version. All right, so you've saved your document. You're going to go back into the intranet site. You're going to click on the folder, and then you're going to upload your document. Click upload in the folder, upload the document that you just saved with that 2022 at the end, and then you're all set. Now, the last thing I want you to do is to double check that your syllabi for spring 2022 directly align with your newly revised CAP. So those course assessment plan learning outcomes on the CAP, on the course assessment plan, they should match what's in the syllabus. The syllabus doesn't need to include the institutional learning outcome alignments. We don't really need that in the syllabi. And maybe at some point we will make those revisions, but for now, just focus on making sure that the language of the learning outcomes is the same on your syllabus as it is on your course assessment plan. That's the most important part. All right, so here's a brief recap of what you need to do. Go into the intranet, download your course assessment plans, edit your course assessment plans to show alignments to ILOs. 1 is fine. If you can show more, that's great too. Save those documents with the 2022 at the end and upload them back into the appropriate file folder on the intranet, and then edit your syllabi to reflect those changes. As far as a timeline, any classes you are teaching in the spring need to be edited for the start of the semester. So we start classes on January 18th, 2022. I need all classes being taught in the spring of 2022 to be edited and uploaded to the intranet for that January 18th start date. Classes that you aren't teaching this spring have a little bit more wiggle room. I need those edited and uploaded by graduation. So that'll be May 2022 for the remaining courses. And as always, I'm here if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you're not seeing clear alignments, I will happily work with you to make sure that we can get those worked out. Thank you so much for doing this really important work. I'm looking forward to seeing how our classes align beautifully with our institutional learning outcomes. And again, contact me with any questions. Thanks again.